What happens when a family built on a perfect public image faces a daughter-in-law who refuses to play by the rules? This is the story of how Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz's marriage became the battleground for independence versus control, and how one wedding dress destroyed 2 decades of carefully crafted family harmony. If you're here for the tea on celebrity family drama, hit that like button right now, because this gets messier than a Thanksgiving dinner argument. Over 20 years, David and Victoria Beckham represented the gold standard of celebrity family branding, going from their 1999 marriage to 4 children and a billion-dollar empire, while maintaining an image of unity that most celebrity families can only dream of. Brooklyn married American actress Nicola Peltz on April 9, 2022, and that carefully constructed image began to crack in ways the public had never seen before. This clash between 2 fundamentally different approaches to family, privacy, and control all started with a dress. Let me take you back to the engagement that happened in July 2020 when Brooklyn Beckham, born March 4, 1999, proposed to Nicola Peltz, an actress known for her roles in Transformers: Age of Extinction and the TV series Bates Motel. The eldest son of British royalty meets American heiress seemed like a fairy tale match on the surface, and Nicola, born January 9, 1995, came as the daughter of Nelson Peltz, a billionaire businessman and founder of Trian Fund Management with an estimated net worth exceeding $1.5 billion. The wedding itself brought together celebrities like Ava Longoria and Serena Williams at the Peltz family's oceanfront estate in Palm Beach, Florida, creating a spectacle befitting 2 wealthy families. What should have been a moment of joy, a union of 2 powerful families, instead planted the seeds of a conflict that would play out in magazine interviews, social media posts, and endless tabloid speculation. Victoria Beckham's wedding dress that never was became the first sign of trouble. Just 4 months after the wedding, Nicola gave an interview to Variety in August 2022 that would change everything, revealing something the public hadn't known about her original plan to wear a custom Victoria Beckham wedding dress. Honoring your new mother-in-law, a renowned fashion designer with her own brand, by wearing her creation on your wedding day made perfect sense. But here's where the story gets complicated. Nicola's own words in that Variety interview explained what happened. "We connected to start designing the dress, and then a few months down the line, she realized that her atelier couldn't do it, so then I had to pick another dress." She went on to say, "I was planning on wearing Victoria's wedding dress, and I was truly so excited to be able to wear a design that my future mother-in-law created." Nicola walked down the aisle in Valentino haute couture, designed by Pier Paolo Piccolo, which was beautiful but carried symbolism that wasn't lost on anyone since the bride didn't wear the Beckham brand. Victoria Beckham has never publicly confirmed or denied these claims and remained largely silent on the matter, which is telling in itself for a family that built their empire on coordinated public appearances and unified messaging. And speaking of staying unified, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss when this family drama inevitably escalates, because you know it will. The dress situation represents something deeper than just a wedding gown, because on one level, it's about Victoria's atelier being unable or unwilling to make it, and Nicola having to find an alternative. The deeper interpretation reveals this as the first public crack in the Beckham family's perfect image, marking the first time someone married into the family and things didn't go according to plan. The first time someone spoke publicly about disappointment, about expectations not being met, about the Beckham machine failing to deliver. Think about Brooklyn's position as the eldest of 4 children born to David and Victoria Beckham, who've been married since 1999. Growing up watching his parents build an empire worth hundreds of millions while cultivating endorsement deals tied to their family man image and maintaining a public presence that required constant coordination and control. His mother's fashion brand, despite facing financial challenges in recent years, relies partially on the family brand association where everything is connected and everything is managed. Brooklyn found himself married to someone from a completely different world because the Peltz family wealth significantly exceeds the Beckham wealth, and Nicola didn't need the Beckham brand since she had her own name, her own money, her own family legacy. Fans started analyzing following and unfollowing patterns almost immediately, though these behaviors change constantly and are difficult to verify, while what was observable became the limited public interaction between Nicola and Victoria on social media platforms. Brooklyn's accounts showed continued, unwavering support for Nicola as he posted supportive messages during periods of media scrutiny, making his loyalty clear. Reports began to surface about family time and holidays, suggesting the couple spent more time with the Peltz family than the Beckhams, which might be normal for any young couple, but became notable for a family whose brand depends on unity and togetherness. If you're Team Nicola or Team Victoria, let me know in the comments, but subscribe first because I need those numbers more than these families need therapy. Nicola gave another interview to Grazia USA by October 2023, addressing the rumors directly and speaking about feeling a lot of toxicity and dealing with a lot of built-up trauma, which are strong words that suggest the conflict went far deeper than a wedding dress.
Most of this information comes from tabloid reports, selective public statements, and media speculation, which means the private conversations, the actual state of relationships, and the real reasons behind decisions remain unknown. David Beckham has given no extensive public comments about the situation, while Victoria remained dignified and largely silent. What we're witnessing is a family conflict, amplified by celebrity status and media attention. But at its core, it's a story as old as time, with in-laws struggling to find their footing, a young couple trying to establish independence, and parents who may be having difficulty letting go of control. From Nicola and Brooklyn's viewpoint, this is about establishing healthy boundaries, where they're a young couple who deserve independence and the right to build their own identity separate from the Beckham brand machine. Nicola has been open about her feelings and experiences, which some see as brave and honest, while Brooklyn does what a husband should do by supporting his wife. And setting boundaries with in-laws, especially powerful ones, is not just healthy, but necessary.
The Beckham perspective, or at least how some interpret it, shows Victoria hurt by the public discussion of private family matters, while the Beckhams chose to remain largely silent and dignified in their response, without engaging in a public war of words. Some view Nicola's public comments as unnecessarily airing family issues that should remain private, with questions arising about whether conflicts are being amplified for attention or media relevance. The neutral observer perspective sees typical family dynamics magnified by celebrity status, where both families are simply being protective of their respective children, and the media may be amplifying what are actually normal in-law adjustments that millions of families experience. The difference is that most of us don't have our family tensions analyzed by millions of people online. David and Victoria Beckham built an empire estimated in the hundreds of millions, and their brand value depends on unity, since selling a lifestyle, an image, a family brand means discord becomes a liability. Endorsement deals, business ventures, and the fashion brand's success all benefit from the perception of a happy, unified family. Victoria Beckham's fashion brand faced financial challenges in recent years, and the last thing it needs is family drama that could tarnish the carefully curated image that helps sell clothes. Nelson Peltz's wealth, estimated at over $1.5 billion, means the Peltz family operates from a position of financial power that potentially exceeds the Beckhams, and Nicola didn't marry into money because she came from it, which changes the power dynamic entirely. Brooklyn stands as an interesting figure in all of this as the first Beckham child to marry, pioneering new territory for the family while pursuing various career paths, including photography and cooking, that received mixed public reception. He has a tattoo dedicated to Nicola and been involved in various business ventures with her, trying in many ways to establish an identity separate from being David Beckham's son.
Breaking away from a family brand that powerful, that established, that lucrative is not simple, because every choice becomes a statement, where spending Christmas becomes news, following someone on Instagram becomes a story, and being photographed with a family becomes evidence of loyalty. Real quick, if you've made it this far without subscribing, what are you waiting for? Your in-laws to approve? Just click it. Both families attended the wedding despite whatever tensions existed, which is significant because they showed up, smiled for cameras, and participated in the spectacle. Though what happened after the wedding, after the cameras stopped rolling, remains largely private.
The first reports of tension between Nicola and Victoria emerged by spring and summer of 2022, and the narrative has continued through 2023 and into 2024 and beyond, with ongoing media coverage keeping the story alive. Multiple interviews and social media posts fed the speculation, but no public reconciliation has been announced. Brooklyn and Nicola remain married while appearing together regularly on social media and presenting a united front, and the Beckham family continues their public appearances and business ventures while also presenting unity, though the distance between the two sides is palpable. This story challenges the myth of the perfect celebrity family in a way that makes it compelling, because for 2 decades, the Beckhams represented aspirational family goals, with beautiful parents, talented children, success in multiple industries, coordinated fashion moments, and exotic vacations documented on social media while making it look effortless. Nicola Peltz's public statements shattered that illusion by essentially saying, "This isn't effortless, this is controlled, this comes with expectations, and I'm not playing along."
Whether you view that as brave or inappropriate depends entirely on your perspective about family, privacy, and loyalty, raising questions about whether it's healthy to speak your truth even when it exposes family dysfunction, or if it's a betrayal to air private grievances publicly. The media construction of this story as perfect image versus independence is partially accurate, but also simplified, because yes, the Beckhams cultivated a specific image, and yes, Nicola and Brooklyn appear to be seeking independence, but framing it as purely a battle of control versus freedom ignores the complexity of family relationships. Victoria genuinely might not have been able to make the dress work in her atelier due to legitimate scheduling or design conflicts, or Nicola may have interpreted this as rejection when it was actually a practical limitation, or miscommunications on both sides could have snowballed into hurt feelings. The alternative is that it really is about control, where Victoria expected a certain level of deference that Nicola wasn't willing to provide, and the Beckham family machine does require conformity that Brooklyn's new wife found suffocating. We don't know, and that's the point, because we're all watching a family navigate a transition that millions of families experience, but with the added pressure of public scrutiny, business interests, and media narratives that may or may not reflect reality. If this drama is better than your actual family drama, hit that like button and feel grateful for your boring relatives. No major public statement from either side has addressed the tensions directly as of early 2025, while the media continues to speculate and fans continue to analyze every social media post, every public appearance, and every absence from family photos. Brooklyn made his choice clear through his actions by standing with Nicola, though whether that represents healthy boundary setting or a painful family division depends on information we don't have access to. Victoria and David maintained their dignified silence, which some interpret as maturity and others interpret as passive-aggressive control. Nicola continues to live her life, post on social media, and occasionally address the situation in interviews when asked. The honest answer about what's true is that we don't fully know, because the actual nature and extent of tensions may be exaggerated by media, and traditional family in-law tensions have been amplified by celebrity status and media attention into something that looks much larger than reality.
Something changed, though, because the Beckham family's first experience with a child getting married didn't go smoothly, as public statements were made that revealed discord, silence from other parties spoke just as loudly, and a young couple is navigating their marriage while the world watches and judges.
This conflict, whether it's as dramatic as portrayed or simply normal family growing pains, reveals something about the cost of living in public, where every family has disagreements, every marriage creates new dynamics with in-laws, and every generation struggles with independence versus tradition. The Beckhams experience what millions experience, but they're doing it under a microscope, with business empires and public images at stake, with every Instagram post analyzed for hidden meaning, and with every holiday choice becoming a statement of loyalty. The real story here might not be about who's right or wrong, but about the impossibility of maintaining a perfect public image when real human emotions, needs, and boundaries come into play. Nicola Peltz, whether intentionally or not, forced the Beckham family to confront the gap between their public image and their private reality. She chose truth, messy as it is, over the carefully manufactured narrative, while Brooklyn chose his wife over family conformity, and Victoria and David are learning that control has limits, especially when dealing with adult children and their spouses who have their own power, their own money, and their own voices. The Beckham family rift reminds us that behind every perfect Instagram photo, every coordinated appearance, and every branded family moment, there are real people with real conflicts, and sometimes the cost of maintaining that perfect image is higher than anyone wants to pay. The dress that was never made became a symbol of expectations that couldn't be met, of two families that couldn't quite merge, of a young woman who wouldn't stay silent, and of a family brand that, for the first time in decades, couldn't control the narrative. Whether this rift will heal, whether reconciliation is possible, or whether time will smooth over these conflicts remains known only to the families involved. What we do know is that the Beckham family's perfect image has been permanently complicated, and in the end, that makes them more relatable than aspirational. If you want more celebrity family drama that makes your own relatives look normal, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because these families definitely aren't done giving us content.